Good morning. My name is Reverend Elizabeth Ide. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm your acting associate minister for congregational care. It is my sincere pleasure to welcome all of you all to First Parish in Concord. You heard that? Yeah, welcome y'all. We covenant to transform and to grow spiritually and ethically as we adapt to a changing world. We are a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations, and love lies at the center of our religious tradition. With humility and reverence, we acknowledge our place in the great web of life. In this congregation, we affirm that Black lives matter as we embrace our commonalities and our differences with love, curiosity, and respect. We are so glad you're here. If you are visiting us online this morning, welcome. And if you're here in person, we invite you to stop by the welcome table and say hello. For those of us who are feeling a little more active this morning, our wiggle room is available in the parlor. There's comfortable seating and toys for the little ones, and the service is broadcast into that room. And all ages are welcome to help yourself to the soul work materials as you enter the sanctuary, so those doors back there. There are sewing circles, coloring pages, pipe cleaners. Research shows that this kind of handiwork can help calm the body and focus the mind. Maybe today is the day you try that out if you haven't already. A couple more brief announcements before we begin our service. Our worship sharing circle is a small group conversation about the service theme. It's in the Brooks Room and online. Our coffee hour is a less structured way to connect and check out the tables in the parish hall to learn more about what is going on here. And if you're on Zoom, you can stay on after service and connect with the others online. Our governing board representative this morning is Kristen Moore. Kristen is waving right now. We're so grateful that she's here to answer any questions or hear some thoughts or words of gratitude that you might have today. So please feel free to check in with her after our service today. And even further out after the service, we have our Rising Together social event. It's hosted by the annual Pledge Campaign, a gathering to mix and mingle with the rest of the incredible folks who make us who we are. That sounds exciting. We couldn't do it without you. Please stop by the parish hall next Sunday between 5 and 7 p.m. There's more information in the insert in your order of service. Saturday. Yeah, don't come on Sunday. Well, you can come on Sunday. We'll be here, at least in the morning, right? I haven't done the announcements in a while. Thank you so much for helping me out back there. That's awesome. Okay, so those details that are correct are folded in your order of service. Okay, I think part of why I'm a little mixed up today is that I am just so thrilled to introduce our guest preacher. We have Reverend Ann Mason, who is the senior minister of First Parish in Lexington, where she is in her 9th year. She and her husband, whose name is Simon Andrews, make their home nearby in Westford. Together, they love to garden, to make music, and to find ways to live with sanity and humor in a challenging world. Reverend Ann, thank you so much for joining us today. We're also excited to welcome a guest musician, Sarah Whitney, who is back in town. She's right over there. She has a concert coming up, and I hope that many of you all will be interested to hear more of her beautiful music beyond our service today. And with that, on this cold winter morning, let's bring a little bit more warmth and light into this room as once again we kindle our chalice and share our unison response with one another. May this flame we light remind us that every one of us can bring the light of love into the world. May this clear flame be a symbol that every heart can burn bright with joy, peace, and harmony. May the wisdom of the ages speak to us through this flame and stay in us. Every one of us can be a blessing to the world. Please join me in singing our opening hymn, number 298, Wake Now My Senses.
Good morning. It is wonderful to be with you this morning. Our senses are awakening to life, to love, to the coming light. As we begin our time of worship, take a moment to breathe. Feel your breath as it moves through your body. Allow its warmth to fill your spirit. Feel your back as it rests against this wooden pew, where so many of you have sat before this day. Allow its strength to fill you with courage. Feel your feet against this ancient floor, where your ancestors have worshiped before you. Allow its wideness to hold you in safety. See the light as it passes through these beautiful windows, where so many beautiful souls have basked in this precious and precarious winter brightness. We are fragile, yet capable of wholeness. We are sorrowful, yet hoping to be joyous. We are disturbed in spirit, yet called to work for the healing of this world. Bring your whole self into this space, knowing that for this moment, you are enough. We are enough. This is enough. Come, let us worship together.
Aren't we lucky? Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Sarah, for being here, and for Anne being here, and for all of you being here. And for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm the Reverend Amy Friedman. I serve as the Minister of Religious Exploration or Education here. And it looks like many people are in very comfortable seats, so I'm not going to invite you forward. Ben, may I have the slide? See how lucky we are? So, Anne has invited me to lead us in a spiritual practice today. And I wondered if anyone here knows the name of what is on the screen. Call it out. There's no wrong answers here. You know me well enough. Mindfulness. Say it again. Tomlin. Well, what is it? It's a circle. So Zen Buddhism is the spiritual practice that we are going to be drawing from that tradition. And so in that tradition, this is known as an enso. And if you ever have the opportunity to see a Zen practitioner create one, I highly recommend it. Or perhaps sometime when you're in a museum or a meditation hall, you will see such a symbol there. The wonderful thing about an enso is it's made with a special brush and ink and special paper too. But that's not what makes it special. What makes it special is the attention that the person brings to the creation of it. Because although that looks so simple, it's really not. I encourage you sometime, if you can find either some ink or paint and a brush, to make a circle. And children are actually better at this practice than us grown-ups because they are just confident. And that's really what you need to make an enso. You need to do one fluid motion. It doesn't have to be perfect. And our adult minds sometimes get a little insecure. And so we can kind of make a jaggedy line, or like we're trying to go back and fix it, but that's not the practice. The practice is one great fluid motion, not perfection. In fact, seeing the bristles of the brush, seeing where the circle begins and ends is part of its beauty. Sometimes even these circles don't have an ending, they have an opening at the end. And that's sort of an invitation to us all to be a part of all that is, see, simple and profound. So this morning, Anne taught me a practice that I want to share with all of you. And all you need, we don't have brushes and ink for everybody today. So all you need is a hand and a finger. And the practice is to take your finger, start on the side with your thumb, and make a circle around your palm. But see if you can give it the same quality I was talking about. Not a shaky circle, but as much as you can, and I know we all have different abilities, bring a mindfulness to that circle. So in order to do this together, I've invited Simon to help. We're going to use the meditation on breathing. So we'll all be breathing and singing the simple drone of that part. And I'm going to invite Simon to do it because he's actually more confident at singing than I am. We need each other.
Your part's really easy. Breathe in, breathe
out. And while you do that, you can still do the enso in your hand. In, breathe
Just
out.
keep that going, both in singing and in life. And if you know the tune, join in.
Breathe in.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. Breathe in, breathe out. I breathe out love. When I breathe out, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
Of course, we're always breathing, as long as we're alive. But it's the attention that we bring to our breathing, just like the attention you just brought to the palm of your hand, that's accessible to you anytime. So thank you for being a part of that practice with me this morning. Today, in religious exploration, our young people are going to help prepare for celebration next Sunday. And I'm not going to tell you what it is we're preparing because that's part of the surprise. But I hope that young people who are here today from kindergarten on up will come with us up to the Emerson room. And we will prepare our surprise together. And you're going to reprise the meditation on breathing as we go? All right.
Let us continue our time of prayer and meditation. Every week, we make a point to be truly present to one another. We start by allowing our attention to go where it wants to go, right? If you notice that you're thinking about something other than the here and now, that's okay. Just keep breathing. Think about what it's like to be here, in these bodies and in this space, breathing this breath. You do not need to do or be or think anything at all. You're already in the place where you belong, and you're enough. This time we share with one another is when we draw our attention to where it needs to go, to affirm our sense of belonging and deepen our expressions of support. We have this weekly ritual to remind us that we're here to help each other. We're here to accept what is true, to change what we can, and to keep looking for what we need. And so this morning we hold in love Stan Treitman, father of Bob Treitman, father-in-law of Leslie Fisher, and grandfather to Lauren Treitman. Stan died at his home on February 18th after a period of physical decline. They and their extended family are grateful that he is now at peace. Stan's family fondly remembers his active and generous 98 years and appreciate his care of Bob's mother, who suffers from dementia, to whom he was married for over 76 years. May his memory be a blessing. We also lift up Susie Weaver, who fractured a vertebrae yesterday when she had a fall while figure skating. Susie is recovering at home with the support of her adult kids, Chloe and Cam. Let us hold Susie and Stan, as well as their families, in prayer. Our intention is for our love to embrace all who are a part of our gathering, joining us as visitors, sharing our online space, holding all of us and everything we brought with us. Blessed be our hopes, our hurts, and our memories. Into this space that is made meaningful by our presence, I invite each of you to share the names and sacred concerns that you might be holding today. You can type them in the chat or say them out loud in the space that surrounds you. Let us say those names now. We acknowledge and hold in our hearts all that was spoken and unspoken. We send love and kindness to all those who have yet to find a place to call their spiritual home. May they find love, belonging, and peace. And we will conclude our prayer with these words from Lucinda S. Duncan. God of life and beauty, we pray for the quietness of snowflakes, knowing that love is quiet. We pray for the kindness of small acts, knowing that gentleness is fragile. We are grateful to know that thoughtfulness makes no sound, that compassion leaves wonderfully beautiful traces when we open ourselves to wonder. May ours be a religious tradition in which, like the snowflake, goes everywhere in quietness, in love, and with gentle regard for that which is true and beautiful in us and about us. Amen. Here to support our pledge campaign group with a testimonial to share with us, I am so excited to invite Elizabeth Cobbs to come forward. Welcome.
Hi, good morning. My name is Liz Cobbs, and I'm delighted to be here to provide my testimony about what First Parish means to me and my family. I'm not a lifelong member, and we moved to Concord just 5 years ago this coming July, so I'm at the beginning of my journey with all of you. My husband Bart and I are adventurers. We met over our mutual love of Japan and fell in love and moved there. We love to try new things, experience different cultures, test out new ways of thinking. Our son Kenneth is now in college, and our daughter Evangeline is here with us in Concord and with me here at First Parish. Every day I think about how lucky I am, how blessed to have a family that can love and laugh, struggle, and learn together. Having moved a lot through our marriage, we did not think it's such a challenge to move again in 2020. We had things well planned in terms of our children's educational journeys and our own life plans. But moving during COVID, I don't advise it, and how to make friends when no one could meet was a real challenge. All of a sudden, it became very clear that our family's strengths had grown through community. Through our children, we found communities and established deep and lasting friendships. Through our jobs, mine in health policy with Merck, my husband as a diplomat with the Department of State. You remember that? It was a government agency. Yep, here we are. So we found fellow world travelers, and with the same level of curiosity and respect for different ways of thinking, of caring, and living. When I found my way to First Parish, it really was to support my daughter, Evangeline. Like so many, I'd heard about the wonderful RE program here and all of the important life skills that she could learn with Amy, Dawn, and Anderson. Confidence, resilience, community for Evangeline, and that has really happened. What I was not expecting was to find community for myself. I was not expecting, I'm gonna cry now. I was not expecting that First Parish and Universalist Unitarianism would be a place where the sacred is celebrated as here, with us, in us. Growing up Roman Catholic, I had not been raised in a spiritual community that embraced or celebrated all of our differences. I'm sure it was also the era, but I did not learn to honor all beings in the inclusive way I've witnessed here with you. You all support so much, celebrating, caring, working to do better for all in the here and the now. Since joining First Parish, I've had the honor to engage in so many ways. I think you are all very good at that. As a new member, it was not just left to me to find my way, but people reached out, asked me to join, asked me to help, and what an honor to be asked. And at coffee hour, where all the amazing programs that you all support are shared, well, it's lovely. These experiences have helped me to understand First Parish as a community, and a community in which I'm so proud to be a member. Last year, Liz Rust introduced the Partakers Program. And I've been a part of a broader UU team visiting a man in prison who is nearly through his BC program. Thanks to Paul Langston Daly, I've started training for listening circles and look forward to building on that initial training to help deepen community. I've also been supported personally through new friends, and I've met many active groups. I love Rise Up Singing on last Fridays, even though I don't make it all the time. The parenting support group has helped me more than words can express. I'm still on the periphery of many things, like RJAG, but I hope to be more active where I can and join more, to go on the women's retreat, to Transylvania, to Ferry Beach. What I've found at First Parish is more than I ever imagined, a group of people of all ages and stages of life who share a vision of how to live that embraces everyone, not just with words, but in action. Here at First Parish, I know that I have a home for years to come with many new adventures that will help me grow personally and that will provide Evangeline with the experiences that will teach her kindness, courage, and community. I can't wait. Thank you.
And here to invite our offering, please welcome Joke, who is here to share with us about the South Sudanese Enrichment for Families. Welcome forward, Joke.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be back here again in this church, and this is not new for me. And when I came, I ran down to the coffee shop and see how the coffee is set up, which is really great. Anyway, I don't have too much time. I have only 1 minute, which is good, but I'll do it rough. My name is Joke. I'm a South Sudanese Lost Boys. Came here in 2001. As you know, all the Lost Boys who came here. And we have this organization called South Sudanese Enrichment. They've been helping a lot of lost boys and lost girls, and also women who are in need. And that's why I'm come here today to represent them. And since I moved away, and they still call me, say, Joe, come over. We want you here. The church wants you. And I see so many faces, which is great, and you still here. You still exist. I'll be coming by, unless if you guys lock me out, that's why I will come here. And today, as the lost boys and the lost girls, and we talk about helping each other, as they mentioned earlier, we need to support each other. And that's the support that I'm here today in order to introduce the South Sudanese Enrichment so that how we can support them with their project that's been going on. It's a small organization, non-profit organization, but it was running with a group of Americans who are really in need of to help the South Sudanese. And that's why I'm here today. I'm a part of it. And anything that you guys do that will help girls and the boys who are in school, and also women who need the support with their children. And that's why I'm here today. Feel free, the napkins are down there. See, they're colorful. And if you want to decorate your kitchen or your pillows or anything, they're all down there. Please feel free and help us. And that's why I'm here today. And I'm so happy to be on the stage. And this is not my first time. When I came here, I used to back them around here, and I know exactly. This is going to be my second time. And when I came in, it's still clean, and I said, okay, I'll be standby. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. See you down there.
Thank you, Sarah and Simon, for your beautiful artistry. Soha Ramani is a professor of writing at New York University, and she's a recipient of many fellowships, including the Asian American Writers Workshop. In this poem, which I'm about to read, she refers to Shah Rukh Khan, who is a much beloved Bollywood actor. I just wanted to introduce that name because I didn't expect that you might know who that was. In her intended audience, you might think of what she calls the slow blink as something like a wink that we might encounter from someone like George Clooney, something like that. Her poem starts, "What aren't you willing to believe? A heart graffitied fuchsia on the street? A missive from another life? Remember the stem of lavender you found in a used copy of Bishop's poems, a verse underlined. The world is mist, and then the world is minute and vast and clear. Suddenly across the aisle, a woman with your mother's bracelet, her left wrists all shimmer and gold, you almost winced. Coincidence is the great mystery of the human mind. But so is the transoceanic reach of Shah Rukh Khan's slow blink. Each of us wants a hint, a song that dares us to look inside. True, it takes whimsy and ego to believe the universe will tap your shoulder in the middle of a random afternoon. That t-shirt on a stranger's chest, a bumper sticker on the highway upstate. Truth isn't going anywhere. It's your eyes passing by. Soha Ramani's poem asks us about the meaning that we find in ordinary moments of our lives, which lift up something mystical, something personal, something which feels true. Is the fuchsia heart graffitied on the street truly a missive from another life? Or does it just remind us of that moment when we've experienced our first love, which fills us with inexplicable exuberance? Is the universe reaching out to us? Or is our awareness heightened by something which reminds us of our past? These are questions which many people have explored in the venue of psychology, of art, and even religion. Some of us feel that there is a connection to these signs, and if we're open to them, we will receive a message from beyond the veil. Some of us feel the nudging of the signs of wonder as an invitation. To what? I don't know. But the practice of receiving an invitation and saying yes to that invitation may lead us into a new experience which could bring great joy. Some of us see all this language about signs as just a New Age trick. Some of us see signs as a true message from God, however we might define that mystical word. I have had my own questions about how to interpret signs in my own life. There was a time when seeing a rainbow right after my mother passed away felt like a sign of her presence. Our whole family felt this way because after we got back from her funeral, there was an enormous rainbow stretching over her house from one side of the valley to another. And when we drove home from upstate New York, there was another one on the highway, and we almost had to drive right underneath it. Was this a sign from her? It felt like it, at a time when I so wanted to feel her presence. Was this the universe trying to help me feel her near me, to remember her love and protection? I do not have the answer to this, but I still love to see rainbows. I resonate with the last line of the poem. Truth isn't going anywhere. It's your eyes passing by. We make meaning where we can. Our lives are a search for meaning, and we shift as we consider and reconsider our relationship to what Abraham Heschel calls the ineffable. And sometimes, when we're very lucky, something from afar breaks into our carefully constructed personal world, and we feel a connection to that which is larger than ourselves. Sometimes it is simple and as powerful as catching someone's eye and really paying attention to the energy which flows between you. For me, it's often when someone shares a story of personal pain and both of our eyes well up with tears. It is the role of religion to lift up these moments, to remind us of our best selves, and to empower us to act from that place of kindness and connection. It is our role as Unitarian Universalists to examine how religion shows up in our world so that we can highlight those instances which inspire us. It is pretty easy to castigate the areas where oppressive religion is trying to take over our political field. As a UU minister, I will never approve of laws written in the name of religion which limit health care to pregnant women, or exclude trans folks from gender-affirming health care, or make it legal to discriminate against people seeking housing or schooling or jobs. I will fight presidential executive orders which do the same. My faith calls me to resist those measures, and our religion calls us to act in solidarity, to speak out against what we hold to be morally reprehensible. It is this kind of religion which our world needs right now, so badly. We are in a world where unkindness is rampant, where the vitriol of hateful language is becoming commonplace. Our world is filled with sarcasm and bullying from the highest office of our government. This has been yet another stressful week as we hear about each presidential executive order which rips apart the fabric of our democracy piece by piece. Each order is heralded by the MAGA faithful as a true pathway to erasing the world that they want. Each order feels to me as though it targets the marginalized in our society. Our trans and non-binary siblings are terrified. Our immigrants are being deported without having committed any crimes. Trump is tearing apart a society whose moral arc had been slowly bending towards justice. He and his supporters are building a world for white American Christian nationalists, using threats of violence as the cryptocurrency of a new world order. It's a tough time to be standing in the pulpit, let me tell you. We need our faith now, my friends. Our country is awash in hatred and the garbage of insult. Our marginalized are afraid, and with good reason. And I hope that you, as a congregation, will go deeply into conversation about how you want to respond. How do we as Unitarian Universalists want to show up in this society armed with our shared values of love and compassion? We may think that this is an impossible task, but I believe that we can do it. I believe that we have been formed for this moment. The role of religion in our lives should be a moral force for good, not a tool for repression. So, my friends, how do we respond to the garbage being thrown at us? How do we show what our faith calls for us to do in these difficult times? It feels sometimes too enormous to find a voice on the national political stage. So perhaps we can start with the local. And so in that spirit, I share with you the story of the Buddha and the garbage heap. Oakland, California is a town known to have many crime-ridden neighborhoods. Dan and Lou have lived there for many years, and they have known and made peace with their share of petty criminals and people strung out on drugs. They did what they could to work with all of their neighbors. They lived peacefully until the town put a traffic diverter 500 feet from their front door. It was a large barrier of concrete with an empty space inside. Seems harmless enough, right? Within days, people in the neighborhood identified this as the place to dump their garbage. When they were moving, they would take all their old furnitures and mattress and garbage bags of old clothing and just dump it in that space between the concrete. Dan called the town over and over, And even when someone would come and take it away, the trash would start to pile up again. So Dan and Lou took matters into their own hands. They went to Ace Hardware and they purchased a Buddha. They're not Buddhist. So why a Buddha? Because, said Dan, Buddha is neutral. If they'd put a statue of Jesus, that would have been too controversial. But nobody seemed to mind a statue of Buddha. So Dan just put some rebar into the statue and drilled it into the concrete barriers. And no, he didn't ask the town for permission. He enjoyed looking at the Buddha when he had his morning coffee. Well, in about 4 months, after that Buddha had been sitting peacefully on the concrete barrier, Dan woke up and saw the statue had been painted a soft white. A day or two later, there was an orange nearby, and soon a whole bag of pears. People brought little gifts like fruit or coins. It was a mystery. Well, over the months which followed, the Buddha got an upgrade. A suit of gold-painted fabric, a rock pedestal. A house was built over him. Finally, Dan and Lou realized that the local Vietnamese Buddhist community came to see this as a shrine. They would show up every morning 70 strong with prayers and offerings, and they sometimes had big feasts for the whole neighborhood. Not a trace of garbage remained. And crime in the neighborhood has dropped 82%. As Dan said, we all have some respect for religious symbols, whether it's the religion that we ascribe to or not, or whether we ascribe to a religion at all. I mean, he said, there's something rather sacred about things like this. Well, perhaps the appearance of the Buddha sitting on the garbage heap was a sign for the Buddhist community. Perhaps the eyes of the Buddha were trained on the neighborhood, which made everyone behave more kindly. This is why I have this painting of the compassionate eyes of Buddha, which was a gift from my Buddhist daughter, hanging in my office. Tradition holds that if the Buddha is watching, everyone will try to be their best selves. Well, however this alchemy happened, it connected Dan and the local Buddhists in a way that made their corner of the world a whole lot better. Let us find ways to do the same. What signs or symbols do you need to bring about the changes that we need in this country? You know, there are people who are resisting the collapse of our democratic order. I read yesterday in the Times about Karen Ortiz, who is a judge in the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, who is refusing to comply with a recent order to make a list of all cases involving LGBTQ discrimination in response to the president's executive order, declaring that the U.S. will recognize only 2 sexes. She sent an email to her entire office of 185 people saying, "This is not normal." Her email was deleted from her mailbox and those of her colleagues. So she followed up with an agency-wide email, at which point her ability to send emails was cut off. She's still working, but she's hired a team of lawyers. Ms. Ortiz said she had no regrets. The unknown was not as scary as being complicit and not speaking up, Ms. Ortiz said in an interview with The Times. I can exist on cornflakes and community. At the end of the day, if it means that my soul is intact. Our world needs us to be bold, living our values of love and compassion, generosity and justice. Let these brave acts inspire us all to make a deep connection with something larger than themselves. Cornflakes and community may be enough to keep us going. Keep the faith, my friends. The times are rough, but we will find our way through. Amen, and blessed be. Please rise as you are able and join in singing our closing hymn, We Would Be One. let us remember that we are all a part of this one precious, fragile world, all of us. And what affects one will affect us all, even as our leaders are trying to separate us. Even if what we hear makes us feel isolated and alone, pay attention to the signs of life around you. Celebrate your cornflakes and community. Let tender moments of love and laughter truly well up in you, so that as you embrace the wonder of your own life, you might be able to help someone near you to do the same. Live fully, my friends. Treasure the life that you have been given, for it is a gift beyond measure. And now together we say to each other, go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. Please be seated for our postlude.
Right here at Parish Hall on March 15th, and the concert on March 15th is for my concert series Beyond the Notes. And I wanted to let you all know that this next piece is written by Jessica Meyer, who is actually my guest artist coming. So would love to see you there if you're interested. There will be violining, there will be looping. So.